What's up, guys? This is Anime Crossover. I'm back with another episode of What If Naruto Was the Red Flash Part 9. And if you did enjoy this video, give this video a like for the next part. And if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more crossover fictions with a twist. Now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 7 And the Truth Shall Set You 2 weeks after the events with Mizuki and the discovery of Naruto's unique new meta-human powers, his growing super genius intelligence, and his parents' deaths. Someone ordered Mizuki to kill his parents, and it was something so horrible or vital that it required a cover-up. Orochimaru, one of the most feared and lethal criminals in the world, and a mysterious group known only as the Nine. Yeah. It's safe to say that the mood at Star Labs has plummeted dramatically. The crew did everything they could to discover any type of lead on the Nine, but all they found were a few mentions in heavily redacted police and law enforcement files. That was a really unsettling sign. Naruto spent a lot of his free time trying to find any kind of information about the Nine, but he was going nowhere. It seemed as if this gang didn't exist, which Naruto prayed wasn't the case. When he wasn't working on the case or looking for new leads, he was working on the arc reactor or any other innovation he could think of. Naruto was sacked from his brief internship with the CCPD because he was too preoccupied with matters at Star Labs. Naruto was pausing in his private workshop room in Star Labs, poring over the data on the arc reactor for the 30th time that day. He ignored the plans and read from the computer data that the reactor was completely ready to be turned on. Naruto was able to complete the building of the arc reactor by himself due to his need to keep himself occupied. The remaining 30% of the construction was completed at his super speed, and any technical obstacles that emerged were overcome with his new emerging super genius brain. The arc reactor was erected in a previously unoccupied location in the reactor ring and connected to the Star Labs power lines. All that remained was for the reactor to be jump-started and it would theoretically begin producing electricity indefinitely. He was sitting at his desk, staring at the computer screen, and holding Mizuki's kunai in his right hand. He has no idea why he saved it. Or if he did, it's because he intends to use it when he finds Orochimaru. As he examined the statistics on the arc reactor, he twisted the knife around his fingers. He came to a halt, holding the knife in reverse grip, and stabbed it into the desk next to the computer. He massaged his chin and peered at the monitor, knowing that if the arc reactor was turned on, there would be no problems, side effects, or negative consequences. Naruto? He heard, turning to see Caitlin standing at the door. Hey, Caitlin, he remarked as she approached him, is there something wrong? Nothing is wrong upstairs. I just wanted to check in on you because you've been keeping to yourself for the past 2 weeks, Caitlin explained. I chose it, Naruto responded, and his statement made her look at him funny. I just needed some alone time, and I didn't want any of you near me if I lost it again. Caitlin stated, you've been fine for the past 2 weeks. Linda says you've been throwing yourself into your work. I needed to keep myself busy because I can't lose control if I'm too busy working on something else, he explained. Didn't she send you down here? No, she was worried too, he said as he heard Linda knocking on the door. Naruto, you've changed since then. I know, Naruto answered, saving her from having to continue her statement. It was on purpose. I'm just trying to get back to some semblance of how I used to be, and I figured it'd be best to keep focused on science things to get there. It helped. Really? Linda inquired. A little, Naruto replied. I've searched every single law enforcement database in the world, and all I've found on the Nine are whispers, redacted files, and cover-ups. I'm no closer to finding the organization responsible for my parents' deaths than I was when I started. Linda assured him, we'll find something, Naruto, you know we will. I know we can because before we didn't even know about Mizuki or that a cover-up existed. I know everyone here would rather believe in fact and science, but I'm betting on fate here. It's fate that drew me to you that day in Jitters, and I know fate is on your side and will bring you closer to finding out who killed your parents. She stepped over to him and kissed his hand, bringing a slight grin to his face. And I'll be there to help you escape the darkness you're so afraid of, she promised. We'll all do it, Caitlin remarked, smiling at Naruto. Thank you very much, both. I guess I just needed to hear it, Naruto explained. Linda kissed him on the cheek and returned her attention to the computer. So, what have you been working on down here? Linda said as she observed his workstation, which was littered with tools, calculating sheets, building materials, and gadgets. Naruto smiled at Linda as he surveyed his creations. A lot of stuff. Stuff that will help Dr. Wells and Star Labs get back into the world. Cutting-edge defense technology, new suppression weapons for the police. I'm even working on meta-human power dampening cuffs for them to use, but it's still a work in progress. One thing I am finished with though is this. Naruto stood up and walked over to a tarp-covered item in the corner of the room. Why the tarp? Caitlin inquired. So it doesn't get dusty, Naruto said as Caitlin looked at him. Cisco designed Barry's flash suit, and my impulse suit was something my father left behind. And seeing as you are also a meta and did an excellent job saving my butt and stopping Daniels, you might deserve one as well. You made me a suit? Linda inquired, delighted at the prospect of having her own garment. I did. Seeing as how we've gotten into a pattern of things here at Star Labs, it's only a matter of time before we need you to save my butt again, so why not do it in style? Naruto removed the tarp to reveal Linda's suit, which stunned Linda and Caitlin. The garment was built of a polymer composite material and looked like a fighting suit but was sleek and form-fitting. It was black, white, and silver in color, with a high-tech tinted mask over her eyes and resting on her nose. The suit was mostly black, save for the white boots, belt, gloves, and shoulder pads. The belt had a sash-like belt with a silver belt emblem of a star, which was also on the breast area, and the white hue stood out against the black. The star sign then spilled forth, across her arms, and finally circled around to loop together in her back. 1. What do you think? Naruto questioned, and Linda was stunned. Linda said as she approached her suit, it's incredible. Caitlin inquired, how did you make it? It was a bit of a challenge considering Linda's powers, but I managed something that should work. The bulk of the suit is made out of fiberglass fabric-coated nylon with a mixture of Nomex and silicate, so the suit is heat-resistant to a degree. So when Linda uses her powers, the heat generated at her palms or wherever shouldn't burn through the material. I also added in a layer of flexible Kevlar so the suit is bulletproof to a degree. The mask is form-fitted to Linda's face and will tint to help protect her from the brightness of her lights, while the gloves are built with a cobalt resin carbon foam to protect her from heat and with specialized energy absorption circuitry to help her focus her light blasts through the palm base in the gloves. She channels the lights in her palms and it helps focus her light wherever she wants. It's a temporary fix as the data suggests that once Linda's more comfortable with her powers, she won't need the gloves to help her. Naruto said, but Linda was too busy ogling her suit to pay attention. Linda stated, I didn't get any of that. She approached Naruto and kissed him as he kissed her back, feeling better than before and like his old self. Thank you, Naruto. He said, you're welcome, Linda. So, if Linda does go back out there, what should we call her? Do you have any names? Caitlin questioned. Linda stated, I'm sure Cisco will come up with something. I've got 2 in my head already. Photon? Naruto asked as Caitlin and Linda pondered the question. Not bad. What else do you have? Linda inquired. How about binary? Naruto suggested. Binary? Like the binary star system? Caitlin inquired. A system with 2 stars orbiting around a common center. And when viewed by the untrained eye, look like a single point of light. Naruto said, and Linda's heart swelled and kissed him. I'm in love with you. I love you too, she murmured as Caitlin took a break from the 2. I guess this is the first time we've genuinely said, I love you. Naruto kissed her again, saying, it felt right. Linda, I want you to promise me something. What? She inquired. If I go down a dark path and return a monster, I want you to stop me, Naruto said. That won't happen, Naruto, she said. Linda, promise me, Naruto begged, wanting her to promise him she'd do it. Mizuki was correct in one thing. Finding out who killed my parents may very well lead me down a path I won't be able to return from. If that happens, I don't care what it takes. Promise me you'll stop me. I couldn't live with myself if I hurt you or the others or worse. Promise me. Linda kissed him and whispered, I promise. That won't happen. You may believe you have darkness within you, but it's a speck. The light within your heart outshines that darkness every single day. We all have darkness within us, Naruto, but as long as you remember what's important to you, that darkness will never take you over. And you have me, your own lightning rod. I thought you didn't like that nickname? Naruto inquired, noticing Linda's faint smirk. I'm starting to warm up to it, and the suit you made me is definitely helping, Linda added as she kissed him, and Naruto kissed him. As Naruto drew her closer, his hands resting on her waist, she reached her hands up and ran them through his hair. You know, we're all alone here. Really? Now? Naruto questioned, smirking as Linda kissed him again and removed her jacket. There's no time like the present, and as I told you before. I hate taking things slow, she remarked, kissing him again and unbuttoning his shirt. Naruto bent down and lifted her up by the backside while Linda wrapped her legs around his waist and led her over to a table. That would have been embarrassing if there had been anyone else on the floor. Naruto and Linda wouldn't be seen by the others for the rest of the day since they were too busy. And Naruto then needed to clean and disinfect his lab. Naruto woke up the next day in a much better mood than he had been in the previous 2 weeks, thanks to his conversation with Linda. He felt a little more confident with her by his side. He was in the brain right now, using the computer to run some last-minute data on restarting the arc reactor. He was looking at the data while eating a big belly burger when he heard a disturbance behind him and saw Dr. Wells walk in. "Dr. Wells," Naruto said, setting his burger down and wiping his mouth. "It's okay, Naruto. I understand the allure of a big belly burger better than anyone," he stated as he walked closer to Naruto. "I'm glad to see you back to some semblance of normalcy for you." "I guess it took a while, but thanks for giving me some space," Naruto replied, to which Dr. Wells nodded. "Of course," Dr. Wells replied, looking at the data on the screen and seeing complicated math, science, and engineering. He knew Naruto's super brain was working hard. "What kind of project are you working on?" "I'm just finishing up some data on restarting the arc reactor," Naruto explained as he examined the data on the computer. "It's finished construction, so all that remains is to start it up and hope our math is correct and the reactor works." "Excellent work," Dr. Wells replied as he reviewed the data, which appeared to be complete. "Well, if you're ready, let's get the arc reactor up and running. I'll prepare everything on this end. Head down to the electrical system and transmission lines, and add in an electrical rerouter." "Right," Naruto said as he walked over to the engineering lab and began working on the electrical rerouter. When installed on the electricity and electrical lines, it would divert power back to the central city power plant, thereby disconnecting Star Labs from the grid. After finishing the rerouter, he proceeded down to the basement of Star Labs and discovered the major electrical and power lines. He installed the electrical rerouter on the transmission lines and programmed the remote to turn on when he was ready. While Dr. Wells finalized any last-minute computer modifications, he returned to the cortex and began setting up everything he needed to get the arc reactor online. Dr. Wells was finishing up the settings on the computer when Barry, Cisco, Caitlin, and Linda entered the cortex. "Hey, Dr. Wells. Are you busy with something?" Barry inquired. "Actually, I'm assisting Naruto with a project we've been working on for quite some time," Dr. Wells explained. "Some kind of new meta tech?" Barry inquired as Naruto exited a chamber. "Nope. The arc reactor," Naruto remarked as he entered the room carrying a toolkit and placing it on a table. "Since everyone is here, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for giving me my space over the last 2 weeks." "No problem. How are you doing?" Barry inquired. "As good as could be expected considering everything," Naruto answered, "but I'm working through it by keeping myself busy." They weren't sure about keeping him busy, but he did appear to be improving. "And what kinds of things have you been working on?" questioned Barry. "Well, probably the most important thing is that the arc reactor is ready to be turned on," Naruto explained. "Seriously?" Cisco inquired, nodding. "See for yourself," Naruto indicated to the computers, which displayed the complete outline of the arc reactor, as well as video camera footage showing it fully constructed and nestled in its area of the reactor ring. "The reactor is ready to go. All we have to do is jumpstart it, and if my calculations are correct, the reactor will generate enough energy to power the entire city." "Really?" Barry inquired, but Naruto cautioned him not to overreact. "Yup, although the rights, legal footprints, and everything else will take time," Naruto said. "What we can do now is power all of Star Labs. I've set up everything we need to reroute all the power and electricity back to the central city power plant, so we can go off the grid." Linda said, "Awesome. Let's get this thing on and watch my boyfriend make science history. This is going to be a huge news story, and I have a feeling I'll be able to get an exclusive with the genius behind it." "You'll be able to score a lot more than that," Naruto said with a wink, while Linda smirked and the others felt uneasy. Naruto saw and rose up, clearing his throat. "Sorry, guys. Anyway, everything's ready to go. All we need to do now is provide enough energy to kickstart the palladium ring reaction." "Yeah, the same amount of energy that Star Labs uses in a month," Cisco remarked. "Fear not, Cisco, I figured out a way around that." "Follow me," Naruto replied, and they all followed him from the cortex to the speed training room. where they discovered the cosmic treadmill had been upgraded with a lot of extra power cables, a modified electrical generator, and equipment. "What did you do to my baby?" Cisco inquired, curious as to what had become of it. "Don't worry, Cisco. I'll remove all the equipment when we're finished, but your treadmill is how we're going to jumpstart the arc reactor. I figured, why not use up a ready supply of energy that we have right here?" Naruto stated, confusing everyone until it eventually clicked for Cisco. "You rigged up the treadmill to absorb the kinetic electrical energy you generate when you run, and you want to use that to kickstart the arc reactor," Cisco explained. Ding, ding, ding. Cisco wins. 5 minutes on the treadmill should give us enough kinetic energy to jumpstart the reaction, and then we're in business, Naruto said as Barry gave him a look. "Me? Why me?" Barry wondered. "Well, we'll need an Energizer rabbit to make this happen, and I'll need to be at the computers to make sure everything works, and we're not fast enough to be in 2 places at the same time, so it's you," Naruto explained. "I hope you haven't skipped your leg day." While everyone else was at the cortex, Barry changed into sweatpants and stood on the treadmill. Naruto and Dr. Wells were at the computers making sure everything went as planned. "All right, Barry, start running," Naruto said into the intercom, and Barry began jogging on the cosmic treadmill, swiftly reaching a top speed of roughly Mach 1.5. Barry kept jogging as the conduits connecting to the treadmill began transmitting energy to the arc reactor chamber through cable connections. Naruto examined the monitor and noticed that the energy values were consistent and gradually growing. The energy was transferred to the arc reactor chamber and began activating the reactor ring as well as the chemical reaction within the palladium ring. Dr. Wells read the energy levels and said, "The reaction within the ring has begun. Energy levels are rising, and the housing ring is holding perfectly." "Nice," Naruto said as he saw the palladium reaction advance to nearly 20%. "Keep it up, Barry." "Can I just say how much I despise this?" Barry exclaimed as he continued to run on the treadmill. "Duly noted, Flash. Now kick it up a notch," Naruto exclaimed, and Barry did, attempting to run faster. They continued to observe the arc reactor as more and more energy fired up the palladium ring, causing the reaction to intensify. Barry soon created more than enough energy, and the reaction was ready for the reactor to turn on and be disconnected from the grid. "All right, this is it. Get ready to turn on the reactor," Naruto stated, as Dr. Wells stood nearby. Dr. Wells responded, "I'm ready," and Naruto typed in a few commands. "Now," Naruto said, and Dr. Wells pressed the enter key, and the palladium ring immediately started powering up the arc reactor, quickly becoming self-sustaining and producing energy. "I'm disconnecting us from the grid and switching us to the arc reactor. Right now." Naruto pressed another set of controls, cutting power to the transmission cables and switching to the arc reactor. The lights flickered briefly, as if there had been a power surge, before returning to normal. Naruto examined the system and discovered that the arc reactor was operating smoothly and producing roughly 3% of its anticipated power, which was more than enough to power all of Star Labs as well as the confinement cells in the particle accelerator ring. "The arc reactor is up and running. How are the energy levels?" Naruto inquired, and Dr. Wells examined them. "Energy levels are stable, the arc reactor palladium ring is strong, and energy output is at 3%, Dr. Wells explained as Naruto nodded. "Good. More than enough for all of Star Labs," Naruto stated as Barry entered the cortex again. "So, did we do it?" Barry inquired. After a little moment of silence, Naruto remarked, "I believe we did." "Yeah," they all said as Naruto, Linda, Caitlin, Cisco, and Barry leapt and embraced in celebration of the incredible feat they had just witnessed. Dr. Wells remarked, "You did it, Naruto." Naruto smiled. "We did it," Naruto remarked as he hugged Dr. Wells, who hugged back. "The arc reactor is now officially online." "Naruto, you've just become the leading innovator in clean energy," Caitlin exclaimed. "So, what's next?" questioned Barry. "Well, I'll closely monitor all the systems to ensure that everything is running smoothly. Just because everything is running fine now doesn't mean we won't have an issue," Naruto remarked as Cisco approached him and put his arm around him. "We'll worry about that when the time comes," Cisco said as he and Barry pushed Naruto out of the cortex and the group proceeded outside to celebrate Naruto's achievement. That incident in Star Labs was a watershed moment in Naruto's life and what his future might hold. XXXXX line break. Dr. Wells informed Naruto on how to apply for a non-provisional utility and design patent application, as well as an international application patent, after the arc reactor was successfully turned on and working. Dr. Wells was familiar with the process because he had gone through it hundreds of times for everything he developed over the years, so he assisted Naruto in gathering everything he needed. They were certain that the initial process would not take long because they had done all of their own study into energy production. Dr. Wells contacted his lawyer, who agreed to help expedite the process, and they would be able to go public and begin moving forward after the patent office approved it and placed the application in patent pending status. While the patent could take up to a year to be authorized, Naruto could continue working, and once he received the patent, no other corporation, scientist, or government official could use or imitate his innovation without being prosecuted. Naruto, Linda, Barry, Cisco, and Caitlin went to Jitters for coffee 2 days after completing the arc reactor, and they were discussing Barry's recent date with Naruto's college classmate Ino. The two went out to a great supper, got coffee, and finished with a really passionate kiss, which was fortunate considering that Barry had been called away twice for a convenience store robbery and an attempted suicide jumper. Cisco said as he and Barry high-fived, "Dude, you're a crime-fighting, lady-slaying machine." "Oh, God, it was so awesome. She was so cool. We're going on another date tonight," Barry said as they made their way up to the second floor to find a table. "Really? Tonight? Wow, Ino must really like you because she would never give another date to a guy unless he was worth it," Naruto said. "Aren't you worried about moving too fast?" Cisco inquired. "No, what do you mean?" Barry said. "It's a second date." No, I meant going too fast. Hurrying," Cisco insinuated. "Look, I mean, you're fast, but there's fast and then there's fast. Am I being subtle enough?" "Okay, stop Cisco," Naruto said as they approached their table. "We are not having this conversation again." "Again?" Linda inquired. "When did you have this conversation for the first time?" "When you and Naruto first started dating," Cisco continued, but was cut off by Naruto's murderous look. "And I'm going to stop talking right now." "Oh, really? Well, that's not an issue," Linda responded, forcing Naruto to cough into his palm as the discussion became awkward. "Okay, we're never having this conversation again. Agreed?" Naruto said, and everyone agreed. They said, "Agreed." When Iris overheard them, Barry responded, "I'll be fine. It's just a second date." She was sat at her own table, working on her laptop. "A second date?" she inquired. "I'm sorry, Ino Yamanaka. She is Naruto's old college acquaintance. I met her at a bar," Barry explained as Cisco answered a phone call. "Yeah, she's great, and she liked Barry because she wants a second date," Naruto remarked. "Wow, that's fantastic. You're great, and if Naruto's friend with her, then she'll be great, so." "Great," Iris replied, and everyone noted the discomfort in her phrase. "Hey, I have to go. I've got to go help a friend," Cisco stated as he walked away. "Is everything all right? We just arrived," Barry explained. "Yeah, I'll see you later," Cisco said as Linda's attention was drawn to the TV, which was showing news about physicist Quentin Quayle, who had been attacked at Concordance Research Labs the night before. "Hey, guys," Linda exclaimed, motioning to the TV as they watched the news coverage about the so-called Burning Man sightings following the attack. "Are you a Burning Man? Caitlin, weren't you interested in him a few weeks ago?" Iris inquired, while Barry, Naruto, Linda, and Caitlin exchanged an apprehensive glance. Naruto received a text message from Dr. Wells instructing him to come to Star Labs immediately. "Hello, Caitlin. We have to get going," Naruto remarked. Linda remarked, "I'll see you at work, Iris." Iris nodded. "I've got to go," Barry muttered, leaving Iris perplexed. They returned to Star Labs and convened in the Cortex with the newsreel and every piece of information they could find about Ronnie, Professor Stein and what happened to Quentin Quayle on the monitors. "It appears that letting Ronnie roam free is no longer an option," Dr. Wells said. "He's no longer even Ronnie. He's Martin Stein in Ronnie's body, like a vampire," Caitlin explained. "More like an invasion of the body snatchers," Linda answered as Naruto looked at her. "Cisco's not the only one who grew up watching a lot of sci-fi movies." "Is there a reason Stein controls Ronnie's body rather than the other way around?" Brian inquired. "Well, when the Firestorm Matrix fused them into the Burning Man, it probably took the best parts of each person to make a strong host. Professor Stein has the superior brain, whereas Ronnie is youthful and healthy. Darwinism in action," Naruto proposed, and Dr. Wells concurred. Naruto's theory is the most credible, and given his knowledge of Project Firestorm, it's the most likely scenario. In any case, he severely injured an innocent man, and we've hunted meta-humans for less. We need to know that you're on board with what needs to happen here, Caitlin, Dr. Wells stated, but Caitlin struggled to respond. How do we track him down? Caitlin inquired. The scientist who was attacked, Quentin Quayle, is a former colleague of Martin Stein. If Martin is in control of Ronnie's body, he might be trying to figure out what happened to him, Dr. Wells speculated. That is most likely correct. The Concordance Research Lab is supposed to specialize in energy research, Linda explained, drawing everyone's attention to herself. I had to help a coworker edit an article about the labs, and I remember reading that. It seems to make the most sense. He'd want to go to someone he could trust with something like this, and someone who would remember him in his new body, Naruto remarked. Alright, so what do we know about him? I don't even know what Stein looks like, Barry stated, so Naruto pushed a few computer buttons to bring up Stein's photo from the Hudson University website. He's someone I've seen before. When? Caitlin inquired. On the train the day the accelerator exploded, Barry explained, recounting the event and his conversation with Professor Stein. That sounds like the professor to me. If we're going to find him, we should talk to someone who knows him the best, and that would be his wife, Clarissa, Naruto said, and they agreed so they went to pay her a visit. Linda went back to work while Naruto, Dr. Wells, Caitlin, and Barry went to pay Clarissa a visit. Yes? She inquired. Good day, Mrs. Stein. My name is Naruto Namikaze, and I'm here with Dr. Harrison Wells, Caitlin Snow from Star Labs, and Barry Allen from the Central City Police Department. Martin Stein, we've come to speak with you about your husband. Do you have a minute? He inquired, as she nodded. Of course, come in, she responded, opening the door for them. You said your name was Naruto. You're not one of my husband's previous students, are you? Yes, I am. How did you find out? Naruto inquired. Oh, Martin often mentioned you in passing as one of his few pupils who seemed to understand the material he was teaching. He was constantly complimentary about you. He even told me he wanted to hire you for his study team, but you dropped out, she explained as Naruto nodded. Yeah, I was dealing with a family loss at the time, and school was the last thing on my mind, he explained, but I've gotten my life in order, and I'm actually working at Star Labs, and we're working with the CCPD on your husband's disappearance. The Conway Prize for Scientific Advancement, Dr. Wells explained as he examined 3 awards on a desk. Clarissa responded, Martin was very proud of that one. I'd always wanted to win one of these. Oh, and look at that, he won it 3 times, Dr. Wells replied, laughing. It takes a special mind to make Dr. Wells jealous, Naruto explained. Martin had a gift for making people envious. I sometimes think Martin loved his theorems and experiments more than he did me, she stated as Barry glanced at her strangely. Caitlin said, I'm sure that's not true, and it isn't, Naruto replied as Clarissa looked at him. Whenever we were in class and Professor Stein would go off on a tangent, he'd frequently speak about you. When I asked him what his greatest scientific achievement was, he informed me that despite all of his honors and distinctions, marrying you was the one thing that gave his life meaning. He cared about you more than I thought he indicated. So, you haven't heard from your husband since he's disappeared? Clarissa smiled as this made things a bit easier. Brian inquired. No, she said as Barry took out a photograph. How about this guy? When Barry showed her the photo of Ronnie, she remembered seeing him. Yes, I have, Clarissa responded, but who is he? We believe someone knows what happened to your husband. When was the last time you saw him? Naruto inquired. I began to have the impression that someone was watching me, and I still do on occasion. And about a month after Martin went missing, the young man showed up here, Clarissa explained, explaining how he sneaked in using the spare key under a loose stone and started talking nonsense. When she phoned the police, he rushed away. Naruto explained, because he remembers. I can assure you, Mrs. Stein, that your husband is still alive. What? Clarissa was surprised to hear it. Naruto, Dr. Wells said, but Naruto motioned for him to continue. Naruto assured him, it's all right, Dr. Wells. Your husband is still alive. But he's changed. Do you know anything about Professor Stein's work on Firestorm? How did you find out about that? My husband kept his work on Firestorm a secret, she added, nodding. With good reason. It's not a coincidence that your husband disappeared the night of the accelerator explosion when he went to see Dr. Wells about Firestorm. In fact, it's most likely the reason he's been missing, Naruto said, but she remained perplexed. I wish I could fully explain this to you, but to be honest, you'd probably think I'm crazy. I've spent my entire life married to a nuclear physicist, so crazy has become normal, Clarissa explained. Believe me, not like this crazy, but if my hunch is correct, you'll meet your husband soon, he remarked, motioning the others to depart. A lot of bad things have happened since the particle accelerator explosion, but I promise you that we'll do our best to get you your husband back. Clarissa nodded as they exited her home and came to a halt in her driveway to discuss. Are you sure it was a good idea to tell her everything? Dr. Wells inquired. I didn't tell her much, but she deserved to know her husband was still alive, and I think I have an idea on how we can get Professor Stein to listen to us, and we know where he'll be, Naruto replied, motioning to his house. It's a risk, Naruto, Dr. Wells said as Naruto looked around the home and noticed Clarissa in the window. Naruto said with a smile, more of a leap of faith. Aside from sharing a body, Professor Stein and Ronnie have something in common. They both want to protect the women they care about. Ronnie stopped the reverse flash from hurting Caitlin, and Professor Stein has been keeping an eye on Clarissa. It appears that we have a stake out, Dr. Wells stated. But Barry has a date tonight, Caitlin explained. I'll cancel, Barry said. No, it's fine. I'll be here. I have a personal connection with Professor Stein, which might make it easier for him to listen to me, and I also have a girlfriend who knows about my being a superhero. Whereas if you screw up a second date with Ino, you can bet you won't get a third. Naruto explained. Don't worry, Barry. There are two of us. I'll handle this while you take the night off. You've done it for me before, so have fun. Okay, but call me if you need me, Barry added as he sped away. You're maturing every day, Naruto, and I'm impressed, Dr. Wells said. I'd hold that thought because I still eat sugary cereal with Cisco, Naruto said, while Caitlin and Dr. Wells laughed. Barry dressed for his date with Ino in good pants, a blue sweater, and a gray undershirt. He had just finished getting ready when he heard a tap on the door and opened up to see Ino dressed in a stunning low-cut purple shirt with a black jacket and a nice-fitting black pants with matching heels with her hair done up in its typical ponytail manner. Hey. Wow, you look great, he said, and Ino grinned. Well, I have a date tonight and I wanted to impress the guy, she said to Barry, who laughed. Well, I can say that the guy is very impressed, Barry said, allowing her to enter and take a look around his house. Oh, this place is so cute. Do you live here by yourself? Ino inquired. Not exactly, I grew up here. Is it still weird that I live at home? He remarked, laughing. Perhaps, but you're so cute that I'll let it slide, she said, making him laugh. Alright, so here's the plan for tonight. Dinner at Paperclip, then a round of mini-golf, followed by Mal Duncan, who's playing at an underground jazz club but my foster dad has a connection there so he hooked us up, and if you're not sick of me by then, we can get froyo, Barry explained. There's nothing more romantic than mini-golf and froyo, Ino said. She and Barry were on their way to their date. When they arrived at Paperclip, Barry checked his reservation while Ino dashed to the restroom. The hostess asked Barry to wait a few minutes while he looked for a spare table, and while Ino was in the bathroom, he texted Naruto and Caitlin to see if everything was alright. He stood in the restaurant's door as couples left and others arrived and waited for their table. His phone rang, and it was a text from Naruto saying that everything was alright but that he hadn't met Professor Stein yet. Barry texted that everything was fine and that he should text him if there was an emergency. Barry? He asked as he turned to see Iris and Eddie enter the restaurant. Eddie said, Hey, Barry, and Barry put his phone aside. Eddie, Iris, what are you doing here? Barry inquired. We were about to ask you the same question, Iris said as Eddie dashed off to check into their dinner reservation. Oh, I'm here with someone. Hey, sorry about that. Barry turned, and Ino approached him. Is our table ready yet? When Eddie approached, Barry remarked, just about. Ah, since you're here, I can make some introductions. Ino, this is Iris West and her boyfriend, Eddie Thon. Iris and I grew up together, and I work with Eddie. Eddie, Iris, meet Ino Yamanka. Hello, it's nice to meet you both, Ino said as he shook Eddie and Iris' hands. Nice to meet you as well. Barry mentioned you before, so it's nice to put a face to the name, Iris added. Really, I hope he said nice things, Ino said. I did, he said, don't worry. Eddie inquired, so, how long have you two been together? When the hostess approached, Ino answered, actually, this is our second date. Your table is ready, Mr. Allen, the hostess said, and Barry nodded. I apologize for the delay, Mr. Thon, but we're very busy tonight. Oh, that's fine, Eddie said. Well, enjoy your evening, you two, Ino said as she and Barry were led to their table. Iris observed the two sitting at their table and conversing with one another, clearly having a nice time, and a strange feeling washed over her. Back with Naruto, he and Caitlin were scoping out the professor's house, and if their guess was correct, he would show up evening to keep an eye on her. Naruto had ordered Big Belly Burger for them for dinner. Naruto sat in the back of the Star Labs van with a tablet, reviewing some designs for the arc reactor's energy cells and checking the arc reactor's energy levels and status. Would you like some of my fries? Dr. Wells asked Caitlin as she looked about the home and saw nothing. Dr. Wells ate some more fries before taking a sip of his soda. Why would Professor Stein come back here? Caitlin wondered. Dr. Wells answered, shoving more French fries into his lips, because this is his home. I'm not referring to the real house. I'm referring to Clarissa. She is his home, and we all want to return home. You know, where we feel safe. And cherished. Ronnie's, you've arrived. Caitlin stated, not anymore. Don't say that, Caitlin. Naruto put down his tablet and drew in closer so she could see him. I promised you that I'd do everything I could to help you get Ronnie back, and I'm still keeping that promise. I know he's merged with someone else as insane, but insane has become the new normal. If you still believe he's in there, I'm not going to give up. Naruto is correct. Remember what I said to you on your first day at Star Labs? Dr. Wells inquired. Caitlin responded, a scientist's work is never finished. A scientist's work is never done, and my work did this to Ronnie and Martin Stein. But it's not over, and it won't be until we get them back home, Dr. Wells said as they heard a bang and watched a ball of fire shoot above them towards the house. Just in time. God, I love being correct. Naruto set down his tablet and opened the van door. Stay here. I'll speak with him. Are you certain about this, Naruto? Dr. Wells inquired, shaking Naruto's head. Certainly not. Wish me luck, Naruto said as he shut the van door and hurried over to the home, where he saw Clarissa open the front door. What are you doing here, Naruto? Did you hear what I said? She inquired, most likely alluding to the noise Firestorm made as he soared over the house. That's your husband, Naruto clarified. I'll explain later, just stay here for now. Naruto dashed to the back of the home, where he noticed Ronnie, Professor Stein peering inside. Professor Stein! Naruto yelled as he turned around to see him. Please leave me alone, he yelled back. Hello, Professor. My name is Naruto Namikaze. I was your student at Hudson University 2 years ago, and you helped me with my final thesis on hydrogen energy fuel cells. He said, and Ronnie Stein came to a halt. After our first semester together as freshmen, you asked why I wanted to pursue science, and I told you that it was something I was passionate about, that it was in my DNA, and that I wanted to assist people, and you told me that science is a magnificent gift to humanity that we should not distort. When I asked you what was the one thing you were never able to figure out, you told me that in all your life of research and discovery, the one mystery that brings two people together through love is still the province of magic. Ronnie Stein finished the quote as Naruto nodded. Naruto, you shouldn't be here. Get out, Ronnie Stein yelled. I can assist you, Professor. I've been working at Star Labs for months, so we can assist you. Assist you in regaining control of your life. Naruto yelled. What's going on, Naruto? They could hear Clarissa as she walked out to the backyard. Get her out of here, Ronnie Stein yelled. Professor, I can help you reclaim your life. Mrs. Stein, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's your husband. Project Firestorm and the particle accelerator did it to him, and I can help him if he comes with me, Naruto explained. But Clarissa couldn't believe what Naruto was telling her. Ask him a question that only Professor Stein could answer. Martin. If you're in there, what color is my favorite? Clarissa inquired as Ronnie Stein turned to face her. You couldn't decide, so you chose stripes, Ronnie Stein answered, causing Clarissa to scream in surprise and take a step forward as he took a step back. You shouldn't see me like this. I notice you, Martin. Naruto stated that he can assist you. Let him, she murmured, looking at Ronnie Stein. Please assist us, he asked, and Naruto agreed. XXXXX line break. The next morning, Barry and Ino met up for breakfast at Jitters. Their date went well last night, except for Barry disappearing for about 15 minutes due to a bank robbery while Naruto and the others met with Professor Stein. Other than that, it went well, so Ino figured some coffee and pastries before they went off to work would be fun. Hey, Barry, Iris said as she approached Ino and Barry. Hey, Iris. What's going on? He inquired. I'm just getting my caffeine fix before I go to work. How about you, too? Iris inquired. I only have a few minutes before I have to go to the conservatory, Ino explained. Ino's a botanist with the Central City Conservatory, which means she knows everything there is to know about plant life on the planet, Barry explained, and Ino laughed. He's exaggerating slightly. My job consists primarily of organizing and categorizing plants for research purposes, Ino explained. Wow, it appears you two have a lot in common, Iris commented as Barry and Ino exchanged smiles. Yeah, well, it's a good thing Naruto has such good taste in friends because Barry is a catch, Ino added, causing Barry to blush and Iris to smile. Barry then received a text from Naruto indicating they had Ronnie, Stein at Star Labs. Hey, Ino, I've had to go now. There's a police emergency, Barry remarked, grabbing his jacket. Of course, no issue. I'll see you later, Ino murmured, kissing her on the cheek before leaving. I'll see you later. Bye, Iris, Barry said as Ino sipped her coffee and Iris took a seat next to her. So, according to Ino Barry, you and Naruto are friends, she inquired. We went to college together, yeah. Naruto is known for his ability to quickly make friends. He's just one of those people that, when you meet him, you know he'll be a terrific buddy, Ino concurred. You're correct. I've only met Naruto a few times, but he has one of those personalities, she responded. It was also a plus in college because Naruto drew the right kind of people as friends. You and Barry are best friends, right? Ino remarked. Iris said, the best of friends. Has Barry had a lot of dating experience? Ino inquired, and Iris was perplexed, because on the dates we've been on, he seems to know exactly what he's doing, and then other times it's like it's his first time. I'm not sure, Barry, Iris said as best she could. Sounds a lot like the answer I got whenever I was curious about Naruto's unusual interactions and creative hijinks, Ino stated as Iris laughed. You know, he hasn't had a girlfriend in a long time, Iris pointed out, and Ino nodded. I don't know, maybe he's just not ready yet. What exactly do you mean? Ino inquired. You know, he was into someone, like an unrequited love thing. He had feelings for someone, and they weren't really reciprocated. Iris stated in a tone that Ino understood and knew she was the one Barry was into. I'd just give him some time. He'll improve. Sure, Ino answered, thinking about it all and needing someone to talk to about it. Ronnie, Stein accompanied Naruto, Caitlin, and Dr. Wells to Star Laboratories, where he was given a hefty dose of drugs to help him relax and sleep. Naruto and Dr. Wells remained up late poring over Professor Stein's scans and readings to decide out how to best heal him. The next morning, they all gathered in the cortex to plan their next steps. Barry entered the room to see Caitlin, Dr. Wells, and Naruto hard at work. Hey, Barry. How was your date last night? Caitlin inquired. Great, Naruto. Thanks for covering for me again. Barry stated, and Naruto nodded. I'm still amazed you got Professor Stein to come here. How did you do it? Dr. Wells smiled as Naruto said, I just spoke to him. Took a leap of faith. So, now what do we do? Barry inquired. I talked to Professor Stein last night about what we should do, given that he created Firestorm, and he thinks it might be possible to separate him and Ronnie using nuclear fission, Naruto explained. Caitlin inquired. What do you think, Dr. Wells? What do I think? It's theoretically possible, but splitting an atom and splitting a man are two very different things. Dr. Wells replied as Ronnie, Stein strolled in after being given a new outfit, a shower, and a haircut. I don't suppose it's necessary to point out that you're all staring. Ronnie, Stein inquired. Naruto apologized on behalf of the group. Sorry, Professor Stein. It's remarkable. I've never felt clearer since the accident. What did you give me? Ronnie, Stein inquired. Dr. Wells described it as a cocktail of antipsychotics, antidepressants, and mood stabilizers. It's the same formula that's used to treat dissociative identity disorder, Ronnie, Stein said to Caitlin. I assume this was your idea. Very clever, Kate. Caitlin remarked. Please don't call me that. I'm sorry, Ronnie, Stein said to her. Caitlin continued, we'd like to run some tests on you. He nodded. Of course, Dr. Snow, Ronnie, Stein said as she led him to one of the laboratories. Naruto's phone rang, and it recognized Ino. Hey, Ino. What's up? Naruto inquired, and Barry perked up as he heard Ino's name. Hey, Naruto. I apologize for calling out of the blue, but I could use someone to talk to, and I remember you used to be the shoulder to cry on in our group of friends, Ino remarked as Naruto laughed. And that hasn't changed. So, what's up? Is everything alright? Naruto inquired. I'm not sure, she answered, her voice hesitant. It's all about Barry? Barry? Naruto questioned, looking at Barry, who gave him a strange look. What about Barry? Says one. I just had a conversation with Iris about Barry, and she said something that kind of makes me wonder if I want to keep seeing him, she explained. Really? Okay, I'm interested. What happened? He inquired. Well, Barry and I had our official second date last night. We've been on lunch dates and stuff like that before and they've been great, but I'm beginning to wonder if I want to keep this going, she remarked, perplexing him. Why would you think that? I thought you said everything was great, Naruto responded. Yeah, but I don't want to date Barry and think things are going great only to have them end because he's so hung up on someone else, she stated. I'm sure Barry wouldn't do something like that, Naruto said, as Barry gazed at him. What was wrong? I understand, but I don't want to end up like Sakura did when Sasuke left our junior year. Naruto understood what she meant. Sakura was a friend of theirs who had a boyfriend named Sasuke, the heir apparent to his father's large private military firm. He went to college with them. Dot was a pompous, gloomy jackass who then vanished halfway through junior year without saying anything. Sakura was deeply injured, and it took time and effort from everyone to help her recover. I get what you mean. That was a difficult year, but Barry isn't like the other guys you've dated. Naruto muttered as Barry looked at him and shrugged. Trust me, I know him, and he's nothing like those jerks at school. I agree, but it's just that I haven't had the best track record with boyfriends. Sai was fantastic, but the guys I dated before him were mediocre at best. Look, I'm not saying Barry and I will be together forever or anything, but I'd like to believe that my radar for dateable guys has improved rather than deteriorated. She expressed legitimate concern. I understand that, but give Barry some credit. I understand that Barry may appear to be oblivious to this, but he's one of the best individuals I know. You won't be together forever, but he adores you. He's here with me right now, and believe me when I say he has the ability to surprise you. Naruto stated as Barry got wide-eyed and signaled Naruto to stop talking. Do you have Barry with you? As Naruto gazed at Barry, Ino inquired. No? Naruto said flatly. You're still not a very good liar. Give him a call. So Naruto held up the phone, shrugged, and apologized. Hey, Ino. He greeted her while sweating profusely.
Hello, Barry. So you mentioned you had a police emergency to respond to when you left breakfast, but Naruto tells me you're with him. So, were you lying to me, or has Naruto gotten better at lying since I met him? Barry recognized he had made a mistake when she asked.
He wasn't telling the truth. I was. There was no need for me to respond to a police call. Naruto requires my assistance with something, Barry informed her. What exactly? She inquired. Naruto swiftly jotted something down and walked over to Barry with a piece of paper that read, Tell her you're helping me on a secret project, and I sworn you to secrecy. Barry turned to face Naruto, who gave him a thumbs up. Naruto's been working on a science project at Star Labs and needed my help with it, Barry stated. Naruto's working on a science project? She inquired. Why didn't you just tell me that? Because it's a top secret project involving Star Labs, so I couldn't tell you. When Naruto penned another sentence, he nodded to him. He agreed to let me tell you now if you promise not to mention it. I won't, not that there's much I can mention, Ino responded. Look, I'm sorry for lying to you, but I overheard your conversation with Naruto. I want you to know that I would never do something like that to you, Ino. That's not my style, Barry stated. I can forgive you for lying to me partly because it's Naruto, and I know he wouldn't recommend you if you weren't the guy he thinks you are. But you're in big trouble, mister, Ino informed him. Understood, and I'll do everything in my power to get out of there. He stated this while on the phone and heard her chuckle, which was a positive indication. Who made you worry in the first place? After you left, Iris and I had a conversation. Something about an unrequited love you had for someone prior to our meeting. Ino informed him. It didn't take long to realize Iris was talking about herself. We can just stop it now, Barry, if you really want to be with Iris. There's no point wasting our time if you'd rather be with someone else. No, Ino. I'm done with Iris, and I want to be with you. Yes, I had feelings for Iris, but they are now gone. I had them. When he heard some shuffling over the phone, he told her, Is everything okay? Well, my boss is on his way. Look, we'll see where we go from there later. Barry hung up the phone when Ino hung up. Naruto pretended not to hear anything, sitting by the computer and whistling while performing some computation. You can stop pretending like you didn't hear us, Barry stated. Sorry, dude. Naruto responded. So, what are you going to do? I need to speak with Iris, Barry stated. Go ahead and do it. I can handle things around here, Naruto informed him. Are you sure? Naruto nodded as Barry inquired. Sure, I've got this. Go. Naruto spoke up, and Barry smiled. Thanks. Barry flew away at breakneck speed. Naruto returned to work on separating Professor Stein from Ronnie, but developing a fission device capable of separating a nuclear-powered metahuman without exploding like a nuclear weapon was going to be extremely tough. Any error might kill both the professor and Ronnie, as well as destroy Central City. Naruto was poring over every detail of the professor's firestorm study for a starting point, but even so, this wasn't going to be easy. Using the implosion method of fission may be their best shot, along with a gadget to bombard the conjoined body with nuclear energy like the night of the occurrence. Because Ronnie Stein's body was already a walking nuclear reactor, acquiring a gadget that could use that energy and initiate the reaction might be the best option. His super smart mind was already devising a strategy. When Barry arrived at CCPN, he noticed that everything was bustling with activity. When she saw Barry by the door, Linda was talking to one of her employees. How are you, Barry? Is everything all right? She inquired. Not at all. Can you tell me where Iris is? He inquired. Yeah, she went into the copy room to get something. Linda pointed him in the right direction, and he headed right over there. Thanks for the update. Iris was walking out of the copy room with the papers she needed when she noticed Barry approaching her. Hey, what's up? Iris inquired. Why would you tell Ino that I had feelings for you? Barry inquired. I did not say anything like that. Iris reflected on what she remembered. Wait, didn't I? Alright, Iris, this isn't funny. I mean, I like her, he informed her. I know, and I am happy for you. Iris moved over to the conference table to give them some privacy. Really? Because I mean, it feels like you don't want to be with me right now, and you don't want anyone else to be with me either, Barry stated. I've wished for nothing more than for you to meet someone amazing, Iris responded. I did it, and you went out of your way to make her believe I was unavailable, Barry stated. Look, I'm really sorry. Barry moaned in tiredness and desperation when Iris responded. Wait, do you want me to talk to her? No way, no how. Certainly not. Don't approach her. I'll figure it out for myself. I just want you to know that I no longer have feelings for you. Barry told her, and the news seemed to shake Iris to her core for a split second before she readjusted and returned to normal. Yeah, I know, she said. Okay, I'll catch up with you later. Barry kissed her goodbye and walked away, leaving Iris alone with her thoughts and Linda witnessing the awkward exchange from a distance. I'm glad my relationship with Naruto isn't anything like that, Linda thought to herself before returning to work. Barry visited the Central City Conservatory Gardens and was taken to the special research area. He came in and observed a combination of a white, clean lab room and a greenhouse with rows of specially cared for and monitored flora and fauna species. He noticed Ino in a white lab coat, tending to a row of plants and taking notes on a clipboard. Ino. Barry approached her and noticed how astonished she was to see him. Barry, what exactly are you doing here? She inquired. I really wanted to see you. Barry stated that he looked at the plants and didn't recognize them. Wow, I've never seen you so in your element. Well, that's my job. Rare and extinct flower species are classified, cared for, and researched. Meet the Rothschild slipper orchid, one of the world's rarest flowers. Just cultivated in the great height of Mount Kinabalu in Borneo, and just a few dozen blossoms are produced each year. They are valuable not just because they are rare, but also because they contain unique chemical properties that can be useful in developing new medicines. This is the first batch to be bred here, Ino informed him. Wow, that's amazing. Looking at the flowers, Barry commented. Kind of makes the ones I brought look like nothing. Barry pulled a little bouquet of flowers from his back pocket, making her smile. Oh, how I love roses. Ino responded by grabbing the bouquet and sniffing it. I apologize for what happened earlier. But I want you to know that Iris and I are through. Nothing between us now. You have nothing to be concerned about, but if this gesture isn't enough, I have another option. Barry said as he pulled out a little red pepper. This is the ghost pepper or Naga Jalakia. It is the hottest pepper in the world, 401.5 times hotter than Tabasco sauce. I'll eat it right here, right now if you don't agree to go on another date with me. Okay, don't do that. Ino remarked this while taking the pepper and tossing it in the garbage. Barry let out a sigh of relief that made her laugh. That pepper has the potential to kill you. However, I appreciate the gesture. You've earned another date. Good, and I promise not to let my job, Naruto's secret project, or anything else stand in the way of us. He said this, which made her smile. Naruto has excellent taste in friends. She kissed him, and he kissed her back, both of them missing the faint green glow of the rare plants. Caitlin was giving Ronnie Stein another checkup in the cosmic treadmill room while Dr. Wells examined his vitals and cell structure in the cortex back at Star Labs. Are you comfortable? Caitlin inquired of Ronnie Stein, who wore a sensor device on his body. A little warm, he said. Ronnie used to always run warm. Caitlin replied as she walked over to the computer to check his temperature, which was 108.6. Not all that warm. She took a breath and turned back to face him. Can I talk to him? I apologize, my dear. I'm not sure how that works. But I can feel him. These are the memories I have. Memories that I'm sure aren't mine. One is quite potent. What is Piedmont State Park? It is well known for the Hudson Falls. Caitlin grinned as Ronnie Stein spoke. I know I've never been, but I remember those waterfalls vividly. That's where Ronnie proposed to me, she stated. He adores you tremendously. That I can sense, he responded. Dr. Snow, can we see you for a minute? Dr. Wells announced himself over the intercom. She entered the cortex to find Naruto and Dr. Wells at work. What's wrong? She inquired. Naruto informed her, we have a new problem. Ronnie's body rejects Stein's atoms like a parasite rejects a host. As a result of the instability, an exothermic reaction occurs. I'm concerned that if his temperature continues to increase, it will start a chain reaction, said Dr. Wells. And then what happens? Caitlin inquired. Naruto stated, he could go nuclear. Cisco entered the treadmill room and saw Ronnie sitting by a gurney. Ronnie. Cisco was relieved to see him when he spotted the expression on his face. Not you, Ronnie. Martin Stein. Ronnie Stein extended his hand to shake Cisco's. Cisco Ramon. Cisco welcomed him. Your colleagues are in the next room, not so subtly discussing my condition. Cisco went to join them after Ronnie Stein informed him. That's not freaky at all. Cisco stated. The firestorm matrix is rapidly losing stability. That's probably why he blew up when he went to see Quentin Quayle. The instability is increasing the rate of fission inside his body at an exponential rate. Naruto informed them. Well, how much longer does he have? Caitlin inquired as Naruto and Dr. Wells exchanged a solemn expression. If his temperature continues to rise at this rate, no more than a couple of hours. Dr. Wells spoke up. Well, can you separate them before it's too late? Caitlin inquired, and Naruto exhaled deeply. Perhaps, but any attempt to separate the two of them now could result in a nuclear explosion. And at this scale and energy level, it would completely destroy this metropolis. Naruto informed them. Unless, Dr. Wells said, calling their attention to himself. Unless the host body were no longer functional. You want to kill Ronnie? Caitlin inquired. I don't want to murder Ronnie. However, in this case, Ronnie is the host body. Wells responded. Kill Ronnie, and you kill Stein. That amounts to two persons, Cisco informed him. We're running out of time and have no viable options. And I believe that if Ronnie and Professor Stein were aware of the repercussions we were all facing, they would make the same choice. Millions of people will lose 2 lives. When Naruto spoke, Dr. Wells said something. But I might have an idea. Naruto approached the cortex and touched a few computer buttons, bringing up designs and schematics for a little device. It's an energy device that would use Ronnie's own nuclear energy to create a fission reaction with the firestorm matrix within his cells. Naruto informed them. It's like using Stein as a battery, Cisco explained. Yeah. It should blast his body with the same amount of energy he felt the night of the accelerator accident, and if his theory is correct, it should separate them. Caitlin smiled when Naruto stated this. Except for one minor issue, it's good news. The device may be unable to handle the current increase in energy buildup. Without further time to test it, there's a significant probability that using the gadget may create the reaction we're trying to avoid. How much time would you need to test it? Caitlin inquired. Properly to prevent it from exploding. We don't have enough time. It's a 50-50 chance that it will succeed. Naruto informed her. Naruto, I admire your determination, but we're running out of time, said Dr. Wells. I'm not losing Ronnie again. You mentioned we had a couple of hours. Make use of them. Caitlin informed him before departing. Come on, Cisco. Let's get started. Naruto nodded, and Cisco moved over to Dr. Wells, who was leaving the cortex. Dr. Wells, You don't really think we should kill Ronnie, do you? He inquired. Help Naruto, Cisco. Dr. Wells informed him. Cisco saw him depart and moved to do something in that single second. Naruto entered the treadmill room to find the professor staring at the treadmill in awe. Professor, can I get you anything? Perhaps a glass of Chateau Haut-Briand Pessac Léognan 1982. Perhaps it won't. The taste buds in this body would undoubtedly be different from mine. Maybe I'm a light beer guy now. According to Ronnie, Stein. Worse things can happen. Naruto responded. You mean, like a living nuclear bomb? He inquired. In the transmutation process, unstable nuclear fission was always a risk. Furthermore, you all dispute extremely loudly. We're not giving up on you, Professor. Naruto informed him. And I might have an idea that could work on separating you two and stabilizing Firestorm. Naruto handed him a tablet with blueprints and calculations for a quantum splicer on it. It's a quantum splicer. A brilliant and elegant design. Ronnie, Stein responded by inspecting the designs. A far cry from what you were doing when you were my student. A lot has changed since then, but it might still work. Naruto informed him. It's intended to bombard your atoms with the same amount of energy they experienced the night of the accelerator explosion using your body's own nuclear power. It should be enough to keep you apart. Or provoke the reaction we're attempting to avoid. I heard you. According to Ronnie, Stein. I understand, but what other option do we have? We have nothing to lose by trying this, and it could work. Naruto informed him. Professor, I know you've been through a lot in the last few months, but take one more risk with me. Ronnie, Stein considered it for a second, going over the designs again before nodding. Do we have all of the components needed to build it? He inquired. I believe we do, and I could use an extra set of hands and a brilliant mind to make things go more smoothly. Naruto stated. Ronnie, Stein accepted and began collaborating with Naruto and Cisco on the quantum splicer. They gathered all the components for the quantum splicer and worked as quickly as they could. They were able to construct the majority of the device, but they were missing a sophisticated energy circuit. Damn it. Naruto thought to himself as he searched the lab and storage facilities for a circuit that could handle the quantum splicer's computation but couldn't find one. Naruto pulled out his phone and dialed Dr. Wells' number. Dr. Wells, I'm looking for a Mercury 5 quantum processing chip for the quantum splicer but can't seem to find one in the storage areas or the lab. Can you tell me where I can get one? I'm already one step ahead of you, Naruto. I made some phone calls and was able to obtain one. I'll wait for you in the cortex, he responded. Thank you, God, for Dr. Wells. Naruto replied as he dashed back to the lab to continue working on the device. Cisco brought Barry up to speed on their strategy at this time. When Dr. Wells arrived at the cortex with the missing circuit piece, they completed the device's creation. How much longer? Inquired Barry. Almost done. Naruto responded. Even if we use the device to separate me, there's still a risk of an exothermic reaction that could destroy this entire building. According to Ronnie, Stein. The Badlands are 30 miles from Central City. It's smack dab in the middle of nothing, Barry stated. Then that's where you'll need to use this. Dr. Wells finished the final adjustments and locked the plate in place. Alright, Naruto. I'm hoping your plan will work, but even you won't be able to outrun a nuclear explosion. So get Stein and the splicer to the Badlands and then get out as quickly as you can. Right. Naruto instantly grabbed the device and geared up. Caitlin stopped Ronnie, Stein from leaving with a possible final word. Ronnie. If you're in there. I adore you. Ronnie, Stein kissed her, and she kissed him back. That was coming from him, he told her, and she smiled. I'm looking forward to finally meeting you in person, Professor. Caitlin explained. Naruto grabbed Ronnie, Stein's shoulder and flew out of the cortex all the way to the Badlands. In case something went wrong, they were in the middle of nowhere. I sure hope this works, Naruto remarked, attaching the splicer to Ronnie's heart. The splicer began to charge up as several straps and energy pressure pads were extended across his chest and back. When Ronnie, Stein exploded into more stronger flames than before, Naruto took a few steps back, watching the splicer glow and absorb energy and thinking it was working. There's something going on. He's not going to make it. He's going to blow, Cisco stated as he observed the energy readings on the monitors. Get the hell out of there. Get out of there, Naruto, Dr. Wells yelled. Run. Ronnie, Stein yelled, and Naruto dashed out of there as quickly as he could. He heard Ronnie, Stein cry, and then there was a big nuclear explosion. A gigantic mushroom cloud exploded, and a massive shockwave emanated from the blast spot, landing directly on Naruto's buttocks. He raced as fast as he could, getting around 30 miles away before being knocked off his feet by the dust cloud shockwave. He fell to the ground, and a wash of dirt and ash slapped him in the face. Naruto. Are you okay, Naruto? Dr. Wells called, expecting to speak with him. Yeah, I think so. When Naruto stood up, he witnessed a giant mushroom cloud of fire and smoke. Oh my goodness. It's impossible to say how much radioactive radiation is overwhelming the area. Wait. This can't be. Naruto's suit sensor reads less than 1 million, Cisco stated. That's normal, Barry explained. There's no radiation, Dr. Wells stated, perplexing him, Barry, Cisco, and Caitlin. Naruto donned his goggles and began scanning the area to ensure that Cisco was correct, and that there were no dangerous levels of radiation in the region. Yeah, my goggles aren't picking up on any dangerous levels of radiation, Naruto stated as he changed the vision mode of his goggles to thermal. It gathered up the fragments of the explosion, but it also began to form 2 new signatures. Wait a minute, I'm picking up on 2 new heat signatures. 2 signatures. Dr. Wells, Barry, and Caitlin exchanged glances as Cisco spoke. Naruto sped into the ash cloud and looked around to see the big explosion impact hole. He scanned the area with his goggles and discovered a body among the heat signatures. He removed his goggles when he noticed a body on the ground and hurried over to see whether it was Ronnie, who was moving. His clothing were ragged and covered with ash all over him. Hey. Naruto knelt before him. What's your name? Ronnie Raymond. Naruto smiled when Ronnie said this. I've returned. Your strategy worked. It was a 50-50 shot. Naruto laughed and reached out his hand to help Ronnie up. Nice to meet you in person, Ronnie. Caitlin has told me everything I need to know about you. And I'm delighted to finally meet you, Ronnie stated. Where's the professor? Naruto inquired. Excuse me. They heard and saw Professor Stein approach them in torn garments with ash smudges. However, I obviously need to change my clothes. Nice to see you again, Professor Stein. Naruto smiled and tapped his ear communicator. We're on our way home. Every one of us. Naruto transported Ronnie and Professor Stein back to the Star Labs and up to the cortical level. When they got out of the elevator, they spotted Caitlin waiting for them in the elevator lobby. When she saw Ronnie, she ran over to him and held him tightly, kissing him, and he kissed her back. I'm glad you're still alive. Ronnie smiled and kissed her again, she replied. I'm back. He informed her. Then came Cisco and Dr. Wells. Ronnie Raymond. Cisco was overjoyed to see him, and the 2 brothers hugged. Oh, man, I missed you so much. I should not have kept you there. Hey, don't. Ronnie informed him. Welcome back, Mr. Raymond. Dr. Wells welcomed him. Dear Dr. Wells. Naruto informed me of what had occurred to you. I'm very sorry. Shaking his hand, Ronnie remarked. I'm the one who put myself in this chair. You are the reason I am still alive. Thank you. As Caitlin hugged Naruto, Dr. Wells said. You promised to bring him back, and you did. Thank you very much, she stated. You are most welcome. Before glancing at Professor Stein, Naruto told her. Alright, I suppose Ronnie and the professor might need some cleaning and new clothes. Come with me. Caitlin escorted Naruto to a new room to change and clean up, while Naruto escorted Ronnie. She took him to the med bay and did some tests once he was washed up and changed. Your vitals appear to be normal, except you have a slight fever of 100.6, Caitlin explained. Kate, I'm fine, I promise, he gave her assurance. I understand, but we just need to be. Shish, Ronnie kissed her and she kissed him back. Yup. Just when I'd forgotten how awkward it was to walk in on you two. Cisco stated as he entered the lab with Dr. Wells, Professor Stein, and Naruto. Well, at least you can get used to it again, Caitlin informed him. So, I did a full medical workup on the professor. Dr. Wells stated as he handed Caitlin the tablet with the information. It turns out that now that he and Ronnie are separated, they no longer possess the abilities of Firestorm. Professor Stein, you appear to be running hot as well. The same as Ronnie, 100.6, she stated. Not even a shiver, Dr. Snow. And perhaps, now that Ronald and I have nothing in common, it's Ronnie. He was corrected by Ronnie.
Hey, are you going to miss being able to fly? Cisco inquired, a smirk on his face.
Yeah, maybe if I was the one holding the controller, Ronnie responded. Meaning? Stein inquired. That is to say, you weren't the most conscientious teammate, Ronnie informed him. So you don't think keeping you alive is conscientious? Stein inquired, hurt that Ronnie didn't appreciate what he'd done for him. Alive? We were eating garbage under a bridge, Ronnie stated. I had no idea that my mind would come to dominate our existence, but thank God it did. As Naruto, Cisco, and Dr. Wells exchanged glances at the little former bodymate skirmish, Stein stated. I could feel your fear and panic, emotions that would almost certainly have killed us in that state. You kept me buried. You kept me away from her, Ronnie stated. Which is most likely why she's still alive. Stein responded. I believe you and I have spent enough time together now. Ronnie agreed. Yeah. I would like to go home and see my wife, Stein informed them. I'm ready whenever you are, Professor, Naruto responded.
Thank you, Stein stated. He and Ronnie separated on amicable terms, although both were eager to return to their previous lives. When Naruto arrived at Professor Stein's house, he was ecstatic to see his wife in person for the first time. Wait a minute, how should I respond?
You're not gonna have to say anything. When the door opened and Clarissa spotted her husband, Naruto assured him.
Oh, Clarissa, I say. I'm truly sorry for putting you through this. Stein informed her. She kissed him and held him tight, relieved to have him back. Naruto grinned at the small moment as Clarissa thanked him. Oh, Mr. Naruto, please. Naruto, I know you know from experience that I can be a little problematic, but I appreciate you bringing me back. I'll never be able to thank you enough. Don't bring it up, Professor Stein. I'll see you later. Naruto waved goodbye and supersed away. While Naruto was dealing with that, Barry went to CCPD to complete some work. He entered his lab to find Joe watching the news on TV. Hey, I just left you 3 messages. I'm sorry about it, things have been a little crazy. Barry responded. You mean with the lack of communication or that new hole out in the Badlands? Joe inquired.
We're all fine, thanks. Barry informed him. I wasn't calling to report an explosion. I have something to show you. Joe commented as the two drove to Barry's childhood home. They entered the house, and Barry froze a little, having returned after all these years. Returning to your childhood home should evoke sentiments of nostalgia and good recollections, but it did not for Barry. It was the spot where his mother was murdered and his father was imprisoned. It was the place where his life was changed forever. It's a little smaller than I remember, he stated. It's because you're bigger. Have you ever been in here? Joe inquired as he entered the home, and Barry followed him. I mean, just recently. No, I haven't been back here since that night. Barry responded after seeing Joe come to a halt in front of a machine with a mirror attached to it. Bar? This mirror. Do you recall? He inquired as Barry approached and examined it. Yes, it belonged to my grandmother. How is it still standing? He was perplexed. Just be thankful it is. Look, I'm not sure how Cisco achieved it, but... What did you do? What are we doing here, Joe? Barry inquired. Joe motioned Barry to the side as he turned on the device, which projected a hologram of his mother being attacked by the reverse flash 15 years earlier. You can definitely see 2 very fast people fighting around your mother. Joe pointed to the frozen images of red and yellow blurs. 2 speedsters, Barry explained. You see that? Joe indicated a red projection on the wall. The blood? Barry inquired. Both Cisco and I got our DNA tested. It's all yours. Joe told him, but Barry shrugged. No, it isn't, that is not possible. I hadn't even made it downstairs. Barry responded. No way, Barry. That's not you. This is you. Joe reprimanded him. Cisco had the sample analyzed, and the proteins in the blood were that of an adult, not a child. But that means, the second speedster, the one trying to stop the man in yellow, is it the Flash? That's who I am. Barry stated. To be continued.
That's it for this podcast. Thanks for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this part of the story, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for helping support, and have a great day.